Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
Toddler that we have as the next president of the United States, the POTUS currently, and so she was on with Rachel. That interview was, it was unbelievable. It was really freaking unbelievable. The two of the, this was like, it made the Housewives of Beverly Hills look normal. They hated each other. There was so much. God, you could just feel it coming through the TV. You could just feel the hatred and the spew that they wanted to spit upon. And both of them, maintained a professional composure. But I'll play a little clip of it. But anyway, so I wanted to watch it because I said to you yesterday, now that she's the official White House nanny, she's the one with all the words. That's, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. She's got all the words. And so she's going to have to explain to the American people how it saves coal mining jobs that we're going to build nuclear weapons. And she couldn't do it. She just couldn't do it. It was just a very bizarre thing, but they tried, and then Sean Spicer, who's going to be the new communications director, he tried to say, Donald Trump didn't say that he was gonna do it. He didn't say he was gonna do it. He just said, he's thinking about, a nuclear arms race. He's thinking. But then this morning on the Morning Joe, why? Why were they in their pajamas? Are they ready for the apocalypse? Are they ready for Armageddon? She's not even wearing shoes. She's not even going to leave cute shoes behind. I thought you get, when you get raptured, don't you get raptured right? I could be wrong. I only go as far as the first 5 books. I'm a Pentateuch kind of girl. So, I don't know the Armageddon. I've read it, but it's kind of like Batman Dark Knight. It's one of those where an ordinary guy wants to save the corrupt world. But anyway, so here you have them in their pajamas today, in their pajamas on the TV. She's not wearing any shoes. He's wearing like some moccasins with a Christmas thing going on, a theme on the shoe. I really, and somebody else is sitting there with the Christmas and they forgot to put a little coffee table, so the coffee cups are on the floor. It's just a mess. The whole freaking thing, it's a big mess, right? But this is how it started. She's sitting there with her little scarf and her plaid PJs and her like Midwestern girl socks. You stop wearing those socks once you're, 30, and you move to Florida. You stop wearing those damn socks. But anyway, she's there. And she said she had just been on the phone with Sean Spicer and Donald Trump. Now, why would you be talking to them off the air? This is a question nobody seems to want to ask. Why are they, talking to each other off the air? You would only want to talk on the air. The producers would do the talking off the air, too. Anyway, this is what she said, that she was told by Donald Trump about his tweet that until the world comes to its senses, we're going to build nukes. And then we could do whatever we want. What does he think having more than 7,000 nukes is going to do for us? What is that? What is that going to do for us? We have 7,000. If we had 7,001, we could do what we want. I don't even understand. Oh, but this is what she said. He said.
Sean Spicer
he just left, but he was on the phone
with the president-elect. Mika asked the president-elect while we had the opportunity what his position was on trying to clarify the tweet yesterday regarding the nuclear arsenal, and the president-elect told you what?
Let it be an arms race. We will outmatch them at every pass.
And outlast them all. All right, you can put that down as breaking news.
There you go. Check.
David Ignatius. So let's bring you in. So we were.
What? What? Let it be an arms race. We'll outmatch them at every pass. And then when we have the most nukes, we could do whatever we want. What is the weirdest part is that Trump is lecturing other countries to come to their senses Other countries did not elect a man-child with thin skin who can be baited with a tweet to launch nuclear weapons. All right, maybe Russia did. I don't know. But that wasn't a real election. Well, apparently neither was ours. But okay, so what does this mean? Because Sean Spicer was trying on the other shows to say, oh, the president isn't saying we're gonna do this. He said, unless they come to their senses. So unless they come to their senses, we'll blow everybody up? Help. Help me. Seriously. Help me. Help me. Oh, Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. I mean, I don't even know. That's not much of a call to reason. I don't know what this was about, but we're having a nuclear arms race, and apparently this is how Trump thinks he's going to make America great again. We're going to bring back duck and cover. I don't know how many people. You're gonna have to teach your kids so many retro things now. Like the people that have kids below the age of 50. You're gonna have to teach them all these retro things that we know. All these crazy, like duck and cover, and those awesome drills we used to have during the Kennedy administration. I mean, what is Donald Trump going to do now? Bay of Pigs? I mean, is he going to invade the Bay of Pigs? I just, I'm not really sure. But there's so much that you're going to have to teach them, like, the way that we were taught in school to keep ourselves safe in case of a nuclear holocaust, in case the Russians launched, because we did have this nuclear standoff. We had this the 13 days. There's movies about it. Go watch one. But we had these 13 days where we thought that Russia was going to actually launch something. They like to be they like to be in the Caribbean. The Russians do. And so they were friends with Cuba and all this stuff. And so we thought that they might launch against us, and it was a standoff. And, we had 13 days and Khrushchev and Kennedy and the shoe banging on the table. You're going to have to teach them all this crap. But the way that we were taught in school that we would, survive. This is crazy. But the way that we were taught that we would survive a nuclear holocaust, right, is to get under our wooden desks and put our hands over our heads like this. Because that's where you want to be when the world is on fire, under a nice piece of kindling. With your hair just singeing off of your head. That'll do it. I mean, that'll. And then there was another drill we used to have to do. We used to go in the hallway, but you weren't allowed to sit in front of a window. So, like, if a classroom had, a door, and the door had a window, they used to have this chicken wire in the window to keep the window from breaking in case of a nuclear holocaust. But you still weren't allowed to sit in front of a door that had a window in it or any outside window, because when the glass shards would fly, they wouldn't fly to the left and right. They would only fly straight into your eyeballs if you were like right in front. So, make fun of the people with four eyes. Go ahead, see if I give a rat's ass. I can't have LASIK, okay? Go ahead, make fun. But when the nuclear glass shards come screaming through, nothing's getting through these suckers. I'm going to have to teach everybody everything. You're going to have to show your kids Strangelove again. You're going to have to, show them all these crazy movies about nuclear winter and Dr. Strangelove and all. But anyway, let's listen to the expert on what that meant, that Donald Trump said, let it be an arms race, we'll outmatch them at every pass. And then when we have the most nukes, we could do whatever we want, apparently. This is what he's thinking. I don't know.
Seeking clarification on the nuclear tweet, not quite the clarification that we would expect. And so the question now that the president-elect has said...
Could you please, do you see how ridiculous media is? Could you just take a gander right there if you're watching? If you're listening, I'll tell you, you may have seen it this morning, so I don't really have to describe. But here you have Joe Scarborough, of course, in the blue and green, man's plaid, PJs. And Mika in the red and black tartan plaid PJs, with her legs, scrunched up against her, sitting all girl, talking about a nuclear holocaust with a blowtorch sitting on top of the nuclear arsenal, known as the man-child president who has to have Kellyanne Conway as his nanny at all times. Holy crap. They're really sitting there talking to a serious dude in Washington, D.C. about nuclear issues while they're in their pajamas on the morning show news. Wow. We have come a long way, baby. From Walter Cronkite, Dan Rather, Huntley, Brinkley, Howard K. Smith. I mean, God rest her soul, Gwen Ifill. God rest her soul. I'm so glad she was not alive to see this. Can you imagine?
This will let it be an arms race. We will match them all. We really have to ask the question on, is that his opening bid? Is that a message he's trying to send to Vladimir Putin? Do we put this in the same category as the 40% tariffs against China, sort of a tough opening line? Or is this going to be policy? I think that's the question. And maybe he wants to keep the world off balance. What are your thoughts?
Bid? You know, Joe, I think he does. His initial move is to unbalance things, to disrupt, to say the unsayable. The problem is that when he gets cornered on that, when people call him out and say, what do you mean about the end of the one China policy? What do you mean about greatly expand the nuclear arsenal? Rather than pulling back, as his spokesman did, and say, well, what we're really talking about is modernizing the nuclear arsenal, or whatever the diplomatic fix is, he sometimes doubles down. And I think that's the thing that, as I talk to world leaders, foreign policy veterans who've served in Republican administrations, they worry about this, that you can create space, but the space is there then to be able to negotiate, not to add, throw more wood on the fire with another statement. If you say, what I really do want is an arms race, you're going to lose the country. The country doesn't want to go through a nuclear arms race. The country wants balance, push back against Moscow. I think for those positions, he'd have support, not for a nuclear arms race.
Okay, Trump voters. Trump voters, 561-270-3844. I need to know, did you vote for a nuclear arms? Was that how you thought he was going to save the coal industry? Just wanting to know. Need to know. Is this what you voted for? Did you vote for the nuclear arms race? Did you see that one coming? Did you? 561-270-3844. And also, we give out that number for anybody who would like to book themselves as the entertainment at the Inaugural. I mean, I might as well ask, because our audience is creative, and, maybe we have somebody with talent that's willing to preform for him. Otherwise, we're going to have, billionaires and generals doing the opening scene from Patton. It's the only, talent that they would have. They can't sing and dance. Oh, man.
To speak to Randi, call now, you bastards. 561-270-3844.
Hello.
Randi Rhodes, Air Force.
Now that Trump's on his way to the White House, how long do you think it's going to take him and his Wall Street cronies to completely wreck our economy? This Trump administration is greedy, full of avarice, and awful, and the damage they're going to do to the economy will become legend. They are going to make the financial crisis of 2008 look like a pool party. And once again, working class Americans, you're going to get soaked. And that's why now more than ever, it's time to diversify your investment portfolio. Gold's low correlation with stocks and bonds can help you in times of uncertainty. Just call my friends at ITM Trading today, get a free gold kit, and learn why gold survives every government, every currency, and every economic crisis. Call ITM Trading at 1-888-OWN-GOLD for guidance from their precious metals experts. They've helped tens of thousands of people navigate this market, and they have the best reputation in this industry. So call 1-888-OWN-GOLD, 1-888-OWN-GOLD.
I'm Rick Smith.
and this is Labor History in 2. On this day in labor history, the year was 2008. That was the day that Walmart stores agreed to settle 63 wage and hour lawsuits across 42 states for at least $352 million and possibly as much as $640 million. Walmart and Sam's Clubs were accused of failing to pay overtime, requiring workers to work off the clock, erasing hours from time cards, and preventing workers from taking meal and rest breaks as guaranteed by state law. The lawsuits involved hundreds of thousands of then current and former employees. You'd think they would have learned their lesson after having to shell out that amount of money. In fact, they have had to settle at least 7 more class action wage and hour lawsuits and remain a defendant in dozens more. By 2012, Walmart had settled at least 9 Equal Employment Opportunity Commission cases related to disability, gender, racial and religious discrimination in hiring, and sexual harassment. Egregious labor violations have persisted throughout their stores. Systematic wage theft, health and safety dangers, and abusive conditions on the job have continued for years. Chronic short staffing creates unsafe working conditions. In 2012 alone, they were repeatedly cited and fined by OSHA for serious violations such as blocked emergency exits, lack of safety procedures for control of power hazards, and other problems. Employees who worked with our Walmart organizers often found they were targeted with threats, reduction in hours, and terminations. More recently, Walmart has had to settle a discrimination suit over health insurance benefits for same-sex spouses. The high cost of labor violations and the low wages at Walmart cost taxpayers on average $6.2 billion a year in public assistance for many of their workers.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randy, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
So apparently Donald Trump can't find anybody with any talent to perform at the inaugural. I think so far he's got the Mormon Tabernacle Choir because Mitt Romney, can't he can't stop them. And he's got some girl who was a runner-up on America's Got Talent. And now all of a sudden we find out that the Rockettes are being forced to perform at Trump's inauguration. They don't want one of the Rockettes, her name's Phoebe Pearl. She posted on Instagram last night that she's embarrassed and disappointed to appear at the event. She said, I don't usually use social media to make a political stand, but I feel overwhelmed with emotion finding out that it's been decided for us that Rockettes will be performing at the presidential inauguration makes me feel embarrassed and disappointed. Oh, well, that's pretty much the feeling that sums up 2016 for decent Americans. We're embarrassed and disappointed. And the whole freaking year. It's just unbelievable. She said she felt uncomfortable about her performance, given Trump's history with unsavory language and the assault allegations. Well, hell yeah. I mean, if I was a woman and I made my living by kicking my leg up in the air, I wouldn't want to be near a pussy grabber either. There, I said it. How do you like that?
It's a Christmas miracle.
My whole face is beet red. I hate that word. I really do. Oh, my face is so red. Oh my God. No, but she said the women I work with are intelligent and are full of love. And the decision of performing for a man that stands for everything we're against is appalling. I'm speaking for just myself, but please know that after we found out about this news, we've been performing with tears in our eyes and heavy hearts. Hashtag not my president. Oh my God, I feel so bad for her. But that's the epitaph for the entire country. That was the epitaph for the entire election. Embarrassed and disappointed and don't want to lift your leg in front of a Donald Trump. I don't blame her. But they were ordered. They said if they were part-timers, they didn't have to show up for this gig. But if they were full-timers, they had to. Now, the thing that kills me, they're a union. Where is their freaking union? See, that's what upsets me. I'm just, but anyway. So apparently, Trump is offering ambassadorships to anybody who can find talent to perform at his inaugural. So if I could get Melissa Etheridge, I love her. She's been a great friend, no question about it. But if I could get Melissa Etheridge to perform at the inaugural, I could be ambassador to Luxembourg. Do you know? Usually that costs like, $1 million to be ambassador to Luxembourg. I would just ask to be ambassador to Costa Rica. That and I would make them start a postal service down there. That's what my demand would be. But honestly, I mean, ambassadorships, if you could book talent. Now, I will say Alec Baldwin offered. Do you know that? Alec Baldwin offered to appear, but only if he could sing Highway to Hell. I swear to God, that's what he tweeted. He said he would be happy to do the inaugural, but only if he could sing Highway to Hell. Even Kiss, Gene Simmons, who's rather conservative, believe it or not. Gene Simmons, he's an Israeli guy by birth, and you wouldn't think Gene Simmons, with his list of 4,000 women and his a lovely wife, and but he said no. They all said no. Everybody said no. There's I can't even find anybody. You can't even find any past presidents that will go. I mean, Bill Clinton could play the saxophone, I guess, and if I could book Bill Clinton to go, then maybe I could be, ambassador to Costa Rica. I don't think it's like a big, line for being that. And I would, but the only one who said that he would go so far is Jimmy Carter. He said he was teaching his Sunday school class. Jimmy Carter is such an awesome dude. He just is. I've been very lucky in my life. I've been privileged to talk to past presidents, some of them, more than once. And I've been very lucky to talk to Jimmy Carter. Very, very lucky to talk to him. The man is amazing. He truly is. And so is his wife. But he said that he was teaching his Sunday school class, and he told them that he would attend the inauguration because it's a tradition. But, HW, he's playing the age card. He's saying he's too old, can't do it. W, he doesn't know. Says, he'll get back to you after the first of the year because of the way they treated Jeb. And, no Bush has endorsed the Trump. So they don't, W doesn't know if he's going to go. Clinton, this is so interesting. The invitation was addressed only to the former president, Bill. And the former first lady, she would be the +1. She would attend as the guest. So, Bill, I'll go with you. I'll sing Bounce Your Boobies, and then I could be ambassador to Costa Rica, which would be really cool. That would be like that. Really, I'm not asking for Luxembourg. I'm not asking for the good spot. I'm not asking for Italy. I'm not asking for China, Japan. I'm not asking. I'm asking Costa Rica. So, if Bill says yes, I would like for him to put a note that on his RSVP that Randi Rhodes will be the +1. She's talented and she will sing "Bounce Your Boobies" at the thing, because everybody has turned. This is the list of who's turned to. Celine Dion. Rene will not let me, I know he's passed away. Rene would roll in his grave. I cannot perform. And what's really interesting is Celine is a very, very big performer in Las Vegas, obviously. I mean, she's like super uber talented, and that's where, people that want to be off the road but still, have a lot to give and want to perform, like a Celine Dion, a Wayne Newton.
Hey, Newton.
He must have pictures of Steve Wynn doing something so incredibly bad. It's so bizarre that Wayne Newton is still working. But, but Steve Wynn, the big, from the Wynn Hotels out there in Vegas, he told Donald Trump he could get Celine because Celine works for Wynn. He couldn't produce. She said, Rene would roll in his grave. John Legend, his wife, Chrissy Teigen, She tweeted in response to Donald Trump's tweet about A-list celebrities. She said, because Donald Trump, is starting to realize that no creative people would really, be down with all this hatred that he espouses, and no creative people are really in the mood for a nuclear holocaust, and no creative people are really, in the mood to write songs about the nuclear winter. They're just not, they're just not into it. And so Donald Trump was so upset because remember, Beyonce and Jay-Z and Beyonce sang At Last at the inaugural for Barack Obama. It was a beautiful, beautiful moment. Michelle in that white dress. Oh, it was stunning. And so now Donald Trump is realizing he's not going to get anybody. So he tweets out, this is what we have now. We don't have press conferences. We don't have, we have tweets, and they change foreign policy by tweet. But anyway, he said the so-called A-list celebrities are all wanting ticks to the inauguration, but look what they did for Hillary. Nothing! In caps. I want the people. So apparently he got a runner-up from America's Got Talent. That's the people, right? So Chrissy Teigen, John Legend's wife, she tweeted to Donald Trump, "Hi, we are the people. We know you are dying without the approval, dear." Love her. And then Garth Brooks said, no, wait, I want to go through. Why don't you get Vladimir? He could come out shirtless. The Bolshoi. Get the Bolshoi ballet. Exactly. Beauty. Stunning. Get the Bolshoi ballet. New York Ballet will have nothing to do with it, but you could get the Bolshoi. Sure. Why not? Maybe he could get one of his billionaires like Carl Icahn, or he could get Wilbur Ross or somebody to do like in real time a corporate takeover. Do you know what I mean? Like because you could trade so many shares in like in a millisecond now. Like, so maybe they should just stand at the podium and say, okay, we're going to take over Exxon right now, or we're going to take over Boeing right now. Watch this. And, bring up Rex Tillerson from Exxon and bring up Wilbur Ross and have them buy each other's shares, and drive up the price and then sell it all at the top and leave the shareholders holding the bag. Show them how it's done. It's a talent. It's a sick and twisted talent that hurts millions of people, but it's a talent. And then, like I said, you could have Mike Flynn, he can get up there and he could do the opening scene from Patton. I don't see why entertainment is a problem for you, Donald. But anyway, so Elton John, it was announced that Elton John was going to Preform. I don't even know where that he tweeted that. And I mean, we were all shocked. We were like, Elton John, a conservative? How is that possible? So Elton John said, I don't really want my music to be involved in anything to do with an American election campaign. I'm British. I've met Donald Trump. He was very nice to me. It's nothing personal. His political views are his own. Mine are very different. I'm not a Republican in a million years. Why not ask Ted effing Nugent or one of those effing country stars? They should do it for you. Again, where is Ted Nugent? The last time we saw him, he was at a Trump rally sitting on a lone folding chair on the stage, playing some really twistedly bad version of Cat Scratch Fever. Don't you remember that? That was painful. David Foster, the American composer who's married to one of the housewives on Beverly Hills, one of the Real Housewives on Beverly Hills, the one that had Lyme disease, Yolanda. I hope Yolanda feels better for Christmas. Lyme disease is a terrible thing. But anyway, he said, for the record, I was asked to participate in the upcoming inauguration some time ago and politely and respectfully declined. Garth Brooks turned down his invitation. He said he would support the president-elect, but when they invited him to perform at the inaugural, he declined. They asked Gene Simmons of Kiss and his wife, Shannon Tweed, who is an ex-Playboy model. She said the group would absolutely not be performing, stated that they were asked but politely declined. Gene Simmons told the cameraman that the TMZ cameraman that was recording these responses that Kiss would be on tour in Europe at the time. And then their daughter Sophie said, good luck finding talent for that one. So even Gene Simmons said no. Again, Steve Wynn assured Donald Trump he could land Celine Dion. They failed to book her. Nikki Sixx. Okay, this is where we're at now. You know, I love Nikki Sixx. I love 6 a.m. I love that. I love Motley Crue. I've always loved Motley Crue, but especially Nikki Sixx. You know, This Is Gonna Hurt. You know, if I could play music, I have an ASCAP license, I swear. But if I could play music, I swear to God, the theme song for 2016 would be Nikki Sixx's "This Is Gonna Hurt." That is one brutal, fast, alternative jam. I mean, and that's what goes on. That's what it sounds like in my head. I like Ambrosia. I do. I like, it's nice, at night. But when I'm driving, okay, or when I'm thinking, or when I'm, you're talking Three Doors Down, you're talking Nikki Sixx, This Is Gonna Hurt, you're talking Foo Fighters. Oh, love Foo Fighters. The Pretender. Oh, you have to listen to all these damn songs because they are the new political songs. Because when they wrote these songs, I don't think they had Donald Trump in mind, but oh, damn, every word is amazing. And Nikki Sixx, This Is Gonna Hurt. That should be that they should have played that at Dylan Roof's trial. It was all about a shooting in a church. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Nikki Sixx and Vince Neil and Motley Crue, they were disinvited. Vince Neil, who was the front guy for Motley Crue, they were supposed to perform at the inauguration. Hillary Clinton wanted them. Isn't that crazy? She's so modern in her music. She what's her face? Katy Perry. Little firework she is. That Hillary Clinton. Little fireworks she is. She loved Katy Perry, This Is My Fight song, my Fight for My Life song. I thought that was a terrible message for Hillary. Trump stole his from the Rolling Stones, who are still fighting him in court. I thought it should be if he was going to steal from the Stones, then he should have, done Sympathy for the Devil. But instead, you know what his was? His was such a psychological mind F for anybody that paid attention to it. His was, you can't always get what you want. At the end of every one of those rallies, it was, you can't always get what you want. And the Rolling Stones were like suing him, saying, stop using our music. But that was the song he used to close every single one of his rallies, telling his people, we're going to have a nuclear holocaust, but you're not going to get anything. At the end of this, you'll have nothing. But anyway, Vince Neil said that they were disinvited when Donald Trump was elected. He said, quote, when the Republicans won, it turned out we were uninvited. I assumed it didn't matter who won because it's a big party, but I guess not. I guess there's more politics involved. They actually called Ice-T. I swear to God, they called Ice-T. Ice-T said, this is so funny. Ice-T said, I just got a call to perform at the inauguration. I didn't pick up. I blocked the number. And Andrea Bocelli was supposed to do a duet with the girl who was the runner-up at America's Got Talent. But he said that his fans, told him they would boycott him, so he's not showing up either. So I guess the Bolshoi is a good pick, Howard. Let's book the Bolshoi. And I could become an ambassador.
For a commercial-free, on-demand, whenever, wherever listening experience, visit randyrhodes.com for your personal premium podcast today.
You're listening to WIN, Workers Independent News, a diversified media enterprises production. I'm Doug Cunningham. Illinois is in its second year without a state budget. That has impacted education and social services, among many other things. Illinois Federation of Teachers President Dan Montgomery says Governor Bruce Rauner refuses to act in the best interests of the state because he's so obsessed with trying to destroy workers' unions.
We're in year 2 of Illinois with no budget. That's because he has held the state hostage and absolutely refused to produce a budget unless the legislature gives into his anti-union, anti-worker demands. He has said he's got this so-called turnaround agenda that includes dismantling workers' compensation, changing union rights to get rid of collective bargaining or severely restrict it, increasing outsourcing and privatization. And the Democrats, to their credit, have held firm and said, look, those are not budget-related items, and we're not going to do these really hurtful and extreme things that are out of the norm of Illinois politics just so you can get a budget.
Montgomery says the IFT and other public sector unions are going to keep fighting for the best interests of Illinois working families.
We're going to continue to fight for working people. What the governor needs to do in running the state, he's got an allegiance to the state, not to his party, not to an ideology. He is totally out of sync with the state of Illinois, and we need a new governor in 2018.
Thanks to laborers, Local 165, 7 non-union workers in Peoria, Illinois will get thousands of dollars in wages owed them for work they did for NMR renovations. Local 165's Matt Bartolo.
Our morals and principles wouldn't allow us to turn our back on these workers, whether they were our members or not. We're in the business of representing workers, and no worker needs to receive that kind of treatment.
The workers were misclassified as contractors and in effect had their wages stolen. Clint Drury is executive director of the West Central Illinois Building and Construction Trades Council.
We'll defend all workers from the unfortunate injustices they face every day, and this is going on throughout the country. It's not just Peoria, Illinois. And the residents of Peoria and nationwide are fed up, and it has to end. So thankfully in this case, justice workers, and it's just in time for Christmas.
Midwest Region Foundation for Fair Contracting's Dane Simpson.
Some of these workers were making less than $3 an hour. They were not getting paid their overtime. They were not getting paid for their weekend work. And to be honest, they weren't getting paid the hours that they were reporting to their supervisor, Nathan Moore.
Brought to you by the California Teachers Association. 325,000 educators who know quality public schools make a better California for all of us. Information on how California teachers are shaping a stronger future for our kids is online at cta.org.
You've been listening to WIN, Workers Independent News. For more information, visit laborradio.org.
The Randi Rhodes Show is brought to you by our partners at ITM Trading. Call them at 1-888-OWN-GOLD and ask for a free gold kit. 1-888-OWN-GOLD.
All things Randi at randyrhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
All right. 49 after. No, it's now 50 after. Jesse in Middletown, California. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Same to you, Randi.
Thank you.
Our savior, our voice of reason and intelligence.
You're going to put a little... Maybe we should make little bobbleheads of me and put me in the manger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. You fit there.
Yeah.
You should be there.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
What is got my chonies in a chunk right now is just like they did with the wanting to know all the names and take the numbers about the everybody involved in the Paris environmental, because they hate Mother Nature.
Yeah, well, she's a bitch.
Yeah, isn't she though?
Yeah.
But just and fair. Okay. So now I learned how the State Department demands that the state, his transition team instructed the State Department to turn over all the information about gender-related staffing, programming, and funding. Because, he's probably going to purge all kinds of programs that promote women's equality, along with the people who work on them, because, it's got, multiple bennies. That's a slap in the face to Hillary, for one thing. But on the other hand, it's also about, Godwin's Law? Fuck it. Fuck Godwin's Law. I can violate it. I'm a quarter Austrian. Okay.
Oh, nobody does Nazi like the Austrians, really.
Oh boy, they got it down. I'm also half Mexican. What were they thinking? Anyway,
that's love. That's pure love,
man. Oh, it was too. God bless my.
But
parents,
you must be beautiful.
Oh, you sweetheart. I like to think so, but I'm old now, so that faded. Okay, but I mean, I'm telling you, it's no fascist, no totalitarian, no purity of race, class, caste, religion, name it, can be maintained unless you've got complete control over the collective uteri. Wombs, the one thing boys can't have.
So check this out. You want to hear this is the dark side. This is the very deep dark side, okay? Here's the deep dark side of me. Ready for this?
Oh, God, okay.
Okay. So the new jobs, the shovel-ready jobs, are actually going to be digging holes so that we can burrow underground.
Oh, yeah.
After the nuclear holocaust. But it will be eugenically correct.
Absolutely.
Okay, only the Aryans with absolutely nothing but, European blood, which is a guarantee of nothing because I'm a freaking Viking and you're Austrian. Okay, so, and they're going to be 10 women for every man.
Oh, yeah. That's right out of Dr. Strangelove.
Yes, so that the
Remember
man...
Peter Sellers sitting there going,
in the wheelchair.
Slavering over,
in the wheelchair.
We have to have lots of women. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and George C. Scott says, but what does this do to the monogamous culture of the United States of America? And he goes, and he punches himself in the face.
I got it. I mean, God, I love that movie. But, it's just, and so... I mean, it's what is it? Okay, Mexican, I understand Spanish a whole lot, better. I have a good accent, all that, although I speak for Spanish for crap. But anyway, it's that Kinder Kusha Kirja, kitchen, children, church. And that's the first thing all totalitarian regimes do out the gate, man, is start, regaining that control. You were asking, why do these people vote for him?
They won't answer me.
Men wanted their bowels back. That's what it's all about.
Is that why they were hanging them on the back of a truck? That is no way to keep your balls.
Well, fragile things.
I mean, did you see them? They were hanging.
They like to pretend,
but
that they're all...
Okay, it was one thing when they had the naked women on the mud flaps. Okay, I even thought it was a very pretty silhouette. Tell you the truth, because But when they started hanging their balls off of the back of their trailer hitches, I was like, that's no way to keep your balls.
Well, they like to pretend that they're just all sturdy and brass and stuff when they're the most gentle, delicate little weird things.
Well, they won't call me. I mean, I've asked. I had one guy respond to me yesterday because I've been asking for days now. Tell me why you voted. They could argue with me about how I'm wrong and I suck and I this and I that and and bad. But they can't say what they're for. It's crazy. They
want their balls back. They've got their man boy. They got their playboy.
But they voted.
Boy.
They voted for the man child.
Yes, they voted for the man-child who knows how to treat women, in his own words. You got to treat them like shit.
Yeah, he did say that.
That's his attitude towards women. And now he's asking for the State Department to turn over all the information on whatever kind of, so-called, strides that we come a long way, baby, that we've made. Okay, I want to have you ever heard of a book called Caliban and the Witch?
No.
And it's Caliban with a C. Sounds like Taliban. And it's written by this woman. It's been translated from the Italian. Her name is Silvia Federici. And the subtitle is Women, the Body, and Primitive Accumulation. And she traces back the history of the transition to capitalism that was going on in the Middle Ages, which is what the Inquisition was all about. The privatization of enclosure, when the church and the royals got together and were trying to take away the forests to hunt in, the little community plots to farm in, and they were trying to just take control of all that so that they could rule the people and turn everybody into peasants and fiefdoms. And they were having a little bit of trouble getting this off the ground, and so they had to do something radical. And so, okay, let's round up all the women who were pretty much, the important, the wise women of the communities, and doling out the food and pretty much in control.
Does this story end?
Say?
Does this story end?
Does this story end? Anytime you'd like to. It's your show, Randy. I'm just trying to ask you to read
Merry Christmas.
this book.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Yay! Oh my God. Let's read, Hannah Arendt. Let's read the whole origins of totalitarianism on the air. Follow that with a complete and total reading of Orwell's 1984, and then just downshift into Sinclair's It Can't Happen Here. Oh, and The Handmaid's Tale. Let's read all those. All right, Alan in New Jersey.
Oh, hi, Randy.
Oh, hi, Alan.
Hi. First time caller.
Hi.
You were on listened to you when you were on before, and I started listening to you again. But my point is, I can't imagine. I've been thinking about this all day. Can anyone imagine that on December 23rd, after this election, we would be watching news about a nuclear arms race?
No.
If Hillary were president-elect.
No.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And here we got Trump he's coming out and actually saying, let's have an arms race. I mean, an arms race with whom? An arms race.
And to what end? I mean, if...
That's what I was just going to say, to what end?
Okay, so here's the best case scenario. This is the only thing that I could think might be in his head, okay? Because he loves Vlad. He loves, Putin, which is why she get the Bolshoi to perform. However... He
said it had a very nice letter from him, he said.
Yeah, Christmas letter. So here's the best case scenario. The best spin in my mind on this is he thinks that him and Vlad could team up to intimidate the rest of the world out of their nukes.
I don't think he could.
But I don't see how that works. Because, first only the United States had nukes, which is why a nuke worked. It only worked because no one else had them. So that was a one-time thing. Actually, it was a two-time thing. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But what I mean is you can't use nukes ever, ever again, because when we used them, we were the only ones that had them. So now we have them. Russia has them. Pakistan has them. India has them. Israel doesn't admit to it, but they have them. China has them. North Korea is trying to have them. You know what I mean? You have 7 countries basically that have it. So if we teamed up with Russia and said, hey, we got 15,000 between us. So what does that mean? You can now do whatever you want? That's what.
It still does.
But that's the only thing I could think of that he's thinking of is that him and Vlad are going to say, we're rebuilding our nuclear arms, blah blah blah, and now we're going to be able to deliver them by by little guns or something. We'll have ray guns, I don't know, and make people think that they need to get rid of I have no idea. This is a ridiculous conversation that he's having on the Twitter and trying to change foreign policy with a tweet before you're president is so strange.
This is the Randy Rhodes Show. To speak with Randy, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
Are you doing the herky jerky? Are you doing it? You need to do it. It's so good. I love jerky. Jerky is the official snack of the Randy Rhodes Air Force, and herky jerky is my favorite jerky of all time. It is incredible. It comes in elk, buffalo, beef, and bacon. Oh, yes, bacon. Hot, mild, or 14 other incredible flavors. And right now, get $6 off your order of $50 or more. This bacon is a slab that you can put on BLTs. Use it in salads or just munch it right out of the bag. The sticks are perfect size for your purse. Just take them anytime you need some protein, work, school, camping, or just stick them in your bag and eat them anytime you need a protein pickup. It tastes like heaven. It's the right amount of spice. It comes in 14 other delicious flavors, and these aren't 3-ounce frou-frou bags either. These are big, beautiful, nearly 1-pound bags of fresh, delicious, perfectly spiced jerky that bites and chews like homemade jerky should. So do it. I do it. You should do the herky jerky. Go to herkyjerky.com, $6 off your order of 50 or more.
It's Thursday, December 22nd, 2016.
President Obama is trying to secure his environmental legacy.
Obama bans offshore drilling in large parts of the Arctic and the Atlantic.
Man-made change is the cause.
NOAA confirms climate change turbocharged 24 extreme events last year. New poll shows majority of Trump voters support regulating carbon emissions. Plus, what Trump can't change. Solar energy, now the cheapest energy in the world.
Oh, he'll figure out how to screw it up. All of that and more straight ahead. From BradBlog.com, I'm Brad Friedman.
And I'm Desi Doyen.
Stand by for 6 minutes of independent green news, politics, analysis, and snarky comment.
You know, the environment's one of these issues the American people don't really want to talk about.
Really? Are you sure about that, Joe Scarborough? Or is it just a self-fulfilling prophecy? Think about that during your next commercial break, sponsored by ExxonMobil. This is your Green News Report. Okay, Desi Doyen, before you get to your news, it's happening again for the second year in a row in late December. The temperatures in the Arctic will be freakishly high, 40 to 50 degrees warmer than normal. Approaching the 32 degrees, which is the melting point for ice. This is just insane. But, you know, Joe Scarborough thinks Americans don't want to talk about it.
Well, something else Scarborough probably doesn't want to talk about. 2016 is likely to go down in history as the hottest year on record globally, almost certain. The numbers won't be in until mid-January, but it marks the third year in a row that global temperatures have hit the hottest year on record since record-keeping began in the 1880s.
Did I mention it was 40 to 50 degrees warmer than normal in the Arctic?
Yes, I think you did. Another clear signal of man-made global warming caused by burning fossil fuels. And another signal, a new report from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration confirms that global warming turbocharged at least 24 out of 30 extreme weather events around the world in 2015, showing measurable and detectable influences of climate change. That's according to NOAA scientist James Partain here in an interview with Alaska Public Radio.
In this paper that we developed, it shows unequivocally that man-made change is the cause of why 2015 was such a serious event.
Shut up. Americans don't want to talk about it.
Well, among some of those events that were amplified by global warming were the record 2015 typhoon season in the Pacific, Alaska's record-breaking wildfire season, sunny day flooding in Miami, and more catastrophic rain and flooding events around the world.
La 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 la, I can't hear you.
Meanwhile, a new U.S. poll finds that a majority of Trump voters support climate action.
What?
The first post-election poll by Morning Consult found that 61% of Trump voters believe that the government should cut the nation's carbon emissions using regulations. 55% support maintaining current policies to combat climate change, and 76% support increasing energy efficiency standards for appliances.
They just don't want to talk about it or vote on it.
In a last-minute gift to the planet, President Obama has issued a permanent ban on offshore drilling in U.S. waters in the Arctic and off the Atlantic coast. The move preserves millions of acres of pristine marine habitat in both regions that are crucial to the ocean food web, and it's under the authority of an obscure provision in the 1953 Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act. The ban is not entirely Trump-proof, but overturning it will be difficult and time-consuming for the incoming Trump administration. In his final press conference of 2016, President Obama highlighted just some of the climate, energy, and environmental successes of his presidency.
We've cut our dependence on foreign oil by more than half, doubled production of renewable energy. None of these actions stifled growth as critics predicted. Instead, the stock market has nearly tripled. Through diplomacy, we brought nearly 200 nations together around a climate agreement that could very well save this planet for our kids.
Braggart.
Much of Obama's environment and climate agenda can be unwound by Republicans and the incoming Trump administration, but there's something they can't change. Renewable energy has now outpaced fossil fuel energy, and solar energy is now the cheapest form of energy in the world. That's according to a new analysis from Bloomberg Energy, which found that in China, India, Brazil, and more than 50 other developing countries, the cost of solar energy since 2010 has dropped by more than 60%, making solar cheaper even than wind, and especially coal and natural gas.
Well, that news is a good holiday present indeed. For much more on that and all of the other stories we covered and couldn't get to today, check out our website at greennews.bradblog.com. We'll be taking a few days off for the holidays. We will see you after the new year. My thanks to all of those who support what we do here by stopping by bradblog.com/donate. It is greatly appreciated, more than you can ever know. Thank you. Find us and follow us on the Facebooks and the Twitters at Green News Report. Happy holidays to you and yours. We'll see you in 2017. I'm Brad Friedman.
And I'm Desi Doyen.
And this has been your year-end Green News Report.
Everything's gonna be all right.
Mary had a little man. The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream today.
Change has come to America.
Believe me. Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randy Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
Okay, we'll split the money with you, Bob Rivers. We'll split it with you. Bob Rivers, Twisted Christmas. I guess we'll split the money with him is what we'll do there, right there. All right, 561-270-3844. That is our number, especially for people who voted for Donald Trump. I would love to know if when you voted for him, you were voting for a nuclear arms race. Was that it? Was that on your list? All right, Coach in Indiana.
Hey, Randy, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're
welcome.
Hey, it's the coach from Indiana. We spoke last week. Remember me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I'm the one you got to get a house for if Trump doesn't get impeached in 4 years.
Right. And I'll buy you dinner, right?
Yeah, that too.
I got it.
Yeah, anyways, hey, I just want to get your take and your point on, I was talking with one of my left-wing friends the other day about this, yesterday, I guess, was about this whole Ivanka deal on the airplane. Now, what's your take on that? Do you think that was a staged event? You think the Russians were behind that in some way? Or
Oh, God. What are you talking about? No. The Russia?
Okay.
Why? Why would you say that?
Well, my left-wing friend thinks the whole thing was a staged event. So I was just
Who are
curious,
these people?
That's kind of what I was wondering. But,
I don't think they're left-wing friends. I don't know who you're talking to. But no... Okay, so here's what happened for those of you who missed this little petite nugget of a story. Apparently, Jared Kushner and Ivanka. Yeah, it's the young one. She and her kids were on a JetBlue flight. Why, I have no idea. But they were on a JetBlue flight, apparently flying all the way to Hawaii. Commercial, I don't. But it's two guys, a married couple. One guy was a lawyer, and the other guy, I don't know what he does for a living. But they saw her, and they were like really upset that that their flight was delayed because she needed special security and all this, and so they tweeted that they were really upset that she was on their flight, and now the flight is ruined. Blah, blah, blah. And so they said something out loud about, why is she on this flight? Shouldn't she be flying private? And they got booted off the flight. That's the story.
Yeah, I think there's a little more to it. I mean, the husband of the one gentleman that, use whatever words you want, the media said harassed, but he also tweeted that his husband was chasing her down in the terminal to harass her. So,
to harass her.
I mean...
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Whatever. I mean, why would that be a Russian staged? Why is that? What is a false? It's a false flag.
Well, I agree. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal either. I mean, I don't really care about it.
I don't care about it except to say that the whole country is suffering from the Trump effect. Obviously, people are being so rude to each other. This is supposed to be the nicest time of the year. the most wonderful time of the year. It's a wonderful life and all that, even though, Mr. Potter is now our Commerce Secretary. But I mean, honest to God, I don't understand why everybody is, well, I do understand why, but can't you just be nice? I mean, you're going to Hawaii. That's a reason to celebrate, no?
Right. No, I agree with you 100%. But again, I mean...
But why was she flying commercial? What is that about? I mean, they have their own...
That's why he thinks the whole thing was staged. So,
why don't... Wait, but when you ask them staged, do you ask them to what end? Like, why would it be staged? For what purpose?
Well, he thinks to show that she's flying on coach and to get more media attention and all that good stuff. So again, I mean, my response to him was... So
basically, they're telling you that they think it was staged so that she could show that she's an everyman kind of a thing?
Exactly. That's what he's claiming.
Well, don't you think that ship has sailed?
Well, I mean, I agree, but this is somebody more on your side.
I mean, the girl was raised in the lap of luxury. She married a hedge fund manager guy who inherited $100 million from his dad, who was once in jail. Do you know what I mean? Right. So don't you think that ordinary everyman thing, that ship has sailed? So whoever's saying this to you, they're as lunatically insane as Alex Jones. It's not a false flag. I do wonder, though, why she was flying commercial, because that's a long-ass flight to Hawaii.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like I said to him, I mean, you think the whole plane was staged? Maybe it was that missing plane that went missing, a couple years ago now.
Oh, MH370.
Yeah, and again, maybe the Russians were behind that.
Well, you know what? Then I should get Richard Quest on the line and ask him. He'll know.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's just funny listening again to the left-wing conspiracy theories of all these things going on. I mean, they're just so angry that I don't even think they're...
Well, then I'm pissed off at the left wing, because that's a very lame conspiracy theory, especially when you got a guy tweeting that he's changing foreign policy and we're entering into a nuclear arms race with a tweet. I mean, can't you do better, left-wing conspiracy theorists?
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I said, I appreciate your input on it, too, because I was hoping you weren't that far on the left side.
Oh, God, here's the dirty little secret about me. I'm not that partisan. I'm not a party person. I never was. I would vote for anybody that said that they were for a $15 minimum wage, that they wanted to make this country the premier, the number one by far country in renewable energy jobs and infrastructure, and anybody that wasn't the handmaiden of Goldman Sachs, anybody at all that was about labor organizing is a good thing for labor. I would vote for anybody that said those things. Anybody.
Right. Well, then, I mean, you'll be happy in the end, because as we know, Trump is going to make America great again. You've heard him say it himself. So.
MAGA.
Huh?
MAGA.
No?
MAGA.
All right, Randy. Well, I'll let you go. But like I said, we'll keep an eye on everything. Like I said, I want that house when Trump doesn't get impeached.
I hear you. Okay, I remember you. Don't worry.
We'll get you a new phone, too.
I'll buy you a new phone, too. I'll throw it in.
All right, you got it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Carol! Hi, Carol! Hi, baby girl. Oh, I have a this is Carol Marie Troll, who is a friend on and off the air, but although we've never met, it's very crazy. But Carol is a jazz singer. I happen to know that. I've listened to your music. You're quite talented. Would you perform at the Trump inaugural so I could become ambassador to Costa Rica?
Only if that could happen. And because you know that won't happen,
yeah,
it ain't happening.
Okay. Sorry to even ask you, but sorry to even do that to you. That was wrong of me. That was very, very wrong, I have to say.
It's cool, but no.
Yeah.
That
I
ain't
hear
happening, babe.
Okay.
After listening to that last guy, my brain just sees. It's just like, it just sees.
Yeah. I know.
I
know. Hey, whatever. I'm glad they're there. I'm glad they call. He's polite. Whatever. I have a bet with him.
Yeah.
I'll pay up, and he'll pay up. Let's just just count our blessings that some of the. I'm just so grateful for any of the Trump supporters who can call and have a conversation. I had one yesterday with a guy, nice guy, didn't really know why he voted for Trump, but tried very hard to explain it, couldn't really do it, ended it nicely. This guy, Coach, I know he's, typically very anti-me, but when he calls, he's polite. We have a bet. I will respect that bet. I'm just so grateful that, they're there, and that some of them they seem like very nice people who enabled a racist, but they seem like nice people.
But Randy, I married into a family that has a few Trump supporters, okay?
Yes.
And what is so amazing to me, and they already are experiencing buyer's remorse in such a profound way that, and it doesn't even dawn on them the connection. It's like, yeah, but I just wanted something different.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. I mean, I've heard, the I don't even know what to say, what to call it, an excuse, I guess, because this guy was, obviously unstable and obviously not fit for this job. He's fit to take companies into bankruptcy and profit off of it. That is what he's good at. That is what he should do. He's good at licensing his name to things other people build. That's what he's good at. That's what he should do. He raises, children that seem polite, and he should stick to doing that, or marrying the women that raise those kids for him. That's what he should do. But I've heard people say not just that they wanted something different, they wanted an outsider. But check this out. The whole problem with the corruption in our government, which exists in a big ass way, is that, is that we've had legislators and presidents who were handmaidens to Goldman Sachs and AIG and Lehman Brothers and Wall Street in general. So now they went for an outsider who wouldn't be the handmaiden. No, he just hired them all to be the government. How is he an outsider? He just brought all. That when they say they wanted an outsider, that just blows my mind.
It's insane, and I didn't have the Thanksgiving thing where a lot of people got together for Thanksgiving and they were afraid to meet with their relatives because they all voted for Trump. This has been lingering, and now we're going to do the Christmas dinner. and I think that's even worse because now you have a combination of diehard Trump supporters, diehard people who are progressive and know what the facts are and, know what's going on truthfully. And the buyer's remorse crowd. I mean, it's this whole cornucopia of just like insane family members who are coming together, who now are looking at each other like, what the do we do now?
Right. And well, you know why? Because we went to bed on November 8th, and on November 9th, we woke up in a different country. And everyone's disoriented about it because nobody thought he would win, not even him. Okay?
And that's the craziest part.
Right.
Is that he did not really, I don't think he even wants the job. Seriously.
A lot of people say that.
This is like, to me, it's like mind-boggling because this guy, I think if he could just take the oath of office, sit at the desk, turn around and do one of those military pivots out of the door, I think he would do it. I think he would turn on a dime and get the frick out of there because I don't think he wants this. But to me, and I've been talking to all of my relatives who don't even know what the whole political thing is, they keep asking me, well, if he resigns or is impeached or whatever, what about Pence? And I'm like, Pence is worse in some ways because Pence knows what the heck he's doing.
I understand, but Pence is not going to nuke the world. And of course, Pence,
well, that's true.
Right. And Pence will never, will not have been an elected president. He won't feel like he had a mandate. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, what would it be? Pence and Ryan? I mean, listen, it's going to be a lousy few years here. There's just no way around it. And we have to be the resistance because I'm not going down that road. I'm just not. I'm not giving up civil liberties. I'm not giving up my house again, to the banks. I'm not giving up my 401k to the banks. I'm not gonna, we have to actually be the resistance. We have to protect what is ours, and don't let them steal what's ours. And they're going to try like crazy, and we're going to have to try and stop them any way and every way that we can. And if that means going to your local Congress, your local congressman, once you start realizing that Trump is investing in nuclear and not in your coal mines, when all the legislators are home now. They're all home. So go to the local office and tell them, even if you supported Trump, I'm watching you. You do anything crazy with these banks, you try and take away our houses, our credit card rates go up to 30-40% again. You do anything like that, you take away our health care, whatever it is, we are not going to vote for you. You best believe it.
And we're going to be on you like grease on greens, baby.
Like flies on rice. White on rice.
For a commercial-free,
flies on shit.
Demand, whenever, wherever listening experience. Visit RandyRhodes.com for your personal premium podcast today.
Now that Trump's on his way to the White House, how long do you think it's going to take him and his Wall Street cronies to completely wreck our economy? This Trump administration is greedy, full of avarice, and awful, and the damage they're going to do to the economy will become legend. They are going to make the financial crisis of 2008 look like a pool party. And once again, working class Americans, you're going to get soaked. And that's why now more than ever, it's time to diversify your investment portfolio. Gold's low correlation with stocks and bonds can help you in times of uncertainty. Just call my friends at ITM Trading today, get a free gold kit, and learn why gold survives every government, every currency, and every economic crisis. Call ITM Trading at 1-888-OWN-GOLD for guidance from their precious metals experts. They've helped tens of thousands of people navigate this market, and they have the best reputation in this industry. So call 1-888-OWN-GOLD, 1-888-OWN-GOLD.
This is Tara Devlin, a.k.a. Pterodactyl from RepublicanDirtyTricks.com on the Progressive Voices channel on TuneIn. And this is my 2-minute tirade. Republicans unveiled what they're calling a permanent save to Social Security. What would more accurately be called their final solution to the Social Security problem. There is no problem with Social Security that raising the cap won't instantly solve. So of course the Republican save will cut already insufficient benefits while, you guessed it, giving a massive tax break to the rich. Sort of like how they're going to permanently save the American healthcare system by kicking millions off their health insurance. It just must be that Republicans aren't happy unless they're making sure more Americans die needlessly without access to health care and a dignified old age. And, of course, the added bonus of returning to the days when the primary cause of death for the elderly was hypothermia and malnutrition. It was Representative Sam Johnson who introduced this bill. Maybe you'll want to give him a call. He's the chairman of the Ways and Means Social Security Subcommittee and a good Republican. Oh, don't worry about him. He's got great health care and a pension, courtesy of you and me. No matter, he won't rest until over 45% of Americans live their golden years in poverty, like it was before FDR signed Social Security into law. Hey, wait a minute. I thought Der Fuhrer Trump made a promise not to touch Social Security and Medicare. I mean, we tried to warn the suckers. Unfortunately, we all have to pay for their stupidity as they drag us back past the first Gilded Age, straight to the Dark Ages, or what Republicans like to call making America great again. This is Tara Devlin from RepublicanDirtyTricks.com. Go there and find links to my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram communities, and keep listening for 2-minute tirades and more on the Progressive Voices channel on TuneIn. We stick together, we win.
The Randy Rhodes Show is live on RandyRhodes.com and the free Progressive Voices app for Android and iOS. Visit the App Store or ProgressiveVoices.com now.
I forgot to pee. I was eating jerky. I was eating my Herky jerky.
Me too. My mouth is full.
Are you eating the bacon?
I love the bacon.
The bacon is unbelievable, but I love these sticks. Oh my God, they're so good.
A perfect holiday gift.
Herky jerky. It is a perfect holiday gift because there's no carbs in it. I love that. I really do. And people have been sending me, oh my God, how many things did we get? We got babkas and we got, cookies and brownie cakes. And what do we get? We got blondies and what was that? An English muffin cake?
Toast. English, yeah, it
is
bread. English muffin.
English muffin, but a whole bread made of English muffin. Oh my God! So you cut a slice, and you put the butter in the jelly or whatever. You know what I do with an English muffin? Oh, I do a magical thing with an English.
You have my attention.
Okay, you toast it first, ever so slightly. Butter it. Take Munster cheese. Has to be Munster because and you put the Munster on top. Sprinkle a little dried basil. Okay. Because if you use fresh, it'll get brown. Then you put it in the broiler for literally 2 minutes, or a toaster oven, whatever you got. 2 minutes. Oh my God! I think that's how I snagged Howard. The first night that Howard ever came to my house, remember that night that we met? that night about 4:00 in the morning. Okay, he's like really hungry. I said, I'm gonna make you a little snack, a little treat. He said. I gave him one of those English muffins with the Munster and the basil, and he went, "Oh, that is the most delicious thing ever. I'm staying here." And he never left. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. All right, Rick in Los Angeles.
Hey, happy Hanukkah.
Oh, Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year, all that jazz.
All that jazz, baby.
Yeah, so it's interesting how the Trumpanzees are having some buyer's remorse here. It's like, too late, folks, you know?
Well, yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, and
when all this is over, they will have nothing of what they want, and that's kind of sad because he talked a great populist game, and I'm all about a populist. As far as FDR was a populist. That was the forgotten man. That was the first time the forgotten man was ever talked about. It was FDR's radio addresses in 1932 and 33. I loved FDR's agenda for the forgotten man. I was all about it, but listening to it, studying it, I thought this is really the progressive. Even Teddy Roosevelt, who was a conservative, had a progressive agenda. That's why I said I'm not that partisan. I would vote for anybody who had a progressive agenda. But this man is going to give absolutely nothing of anything anybody wants. These things that he says he's going to do with the banking system and the deregulation and the nuclear, he's going to do it all. Everything that he said he was going to do on these, crazy Muslim bans and deportation forces, and he's going to do it all. But they're going to end up with nothing of what they want. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have their Social Security cut back, if not eliminated. Their Medicare cut back, if not eliminated.
Yes.
And I think as progressives, we've got to stand up to that, and we've got to pick, one or two issues to fight on. And, devote our energies to that. We can't be too scattered over too many different issues. And, we also need somehow to have some sort of coordination. The problem with Democrats is, it's like herding cats, We're not members of any organized party.
It's true.
That's
what people don't realize. They don't understand that we're not really, that progressives don't really have a home.
Right. No, we really don't.
No, they love to say your girl lost to me, and I'm like, listen,
America lost.
Well, of course, America lost, but I didn't lose. I wasn't running for anything. But the truth is that the only reason why she got my vote is because she wasn't a fascist, and he was. She's not an oligarch, but, and he is. So we got both. We got a fascist oligarch. That's the only reason why she got my vote. Otherwise, there was nothing on the ballot that I, could vote for. I mean, there was nothing.
What kind of magic makes people believe that when you appoint, billionaires and multimillionaires to your cabinet, that somehow they're going to, have sympathy for the working person? I mean, like that guy from Carl's Jr., who's going to be head of the Labor Department. I mean, what makes people think that he's going to be pro-worker? He's not. It's just been totally insane.
Most definitely not. But see, Donald Trump signaled all of this to everybody, but nobody wanted to, hear what he said. But he said wages were too high.
Yeah,
and
right. And his campaign song, you can't always get what you want, right?
That was his campaign song.
Lower expectations.
He also sat on CNBC. He said he needed to borrow more money. He wanted to borrow. Right. And then he said, the workers are, I'm sorry to say, but your wages are too high. You're going to have to lower your expectations if you want to compete in the in a global market. Do you know, he said women who, pregnancy was an inconvenience, women in the workplace. He would hate it if his wife, worked. I mean, so they're going to end up with nothing that they want. Nothing.
Yeah, and look how he started his campaign, saying the American dream is dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, talk about a negative message. I mean, I always thought, this is definitely no Morning in America kind of campaign. That's why one of the reasons I was so surprised he won. But, there was interference by the Russians, by Comey, and then Hillary.
Comey, I cannot forget. I really, me, I gave Comey every benefit of the doubt because Comey had proven himself to be somebody who stood up for individual liberty when Ashcroft was laying in the hospital, and he intervened so that they couldn't get a drugged up, oxycodoned man to sign off on warrantless wiretapping. But that was his crowning glory on his epitaph the day that, that happens. May it never happen, for years and years. But it's going to say the man that actually, lost the election for Hillary Clinton. That is what he's going to be known for.
I mean, he clearly cost Hillary about 2 percentage points across the board, and
that's
that would have been easily the difference in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and possibly North Carolina and Florida.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So anyway, anyway, you take care, Randy. Are you taking time off?
I am. I'll be back. We'll be back on the 4th of January.
Okay, well, have fun in Costa Rica, I assume, or
gracias, sí.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, just be sure you come back. Don't decide you want to stay there. Or maybe you're going to be an ambassador.
Well, I would love to be their ambassador, though. I am going down there to apply for residency. I will tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Can you do your show from there? Have you figured that out?
Absolutely. We're working on it.
We're working on it. We are completely working on it. There's no question.
Wow.
We're working on it. Yeah. In fact, when we go down, part of what we have to do is test some signals and test, our ability to carry a lot of data on what we have down there. We have Wi-Fi and things like that, but we don't have. There's a lot of things we don't have.
Do you have Cat 5?
We don't have Cat 5. That's the thing.
Sounds like a hurricane. Cat 5.
It's, you know what? Without Cat 5, you're not broadcasting. It's just a lesson learned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck getting it up and running. And are you going to let your staff live with you there down in Costa Rica? They're going to have to find their own digs, Randy.
Yeah, my staff is Howard, who already lives with me. So there's that problem solved. And then Paul and his husband. There's a little glitch, but we're going to work on that.
Okay. Well, great. Now, if Howard happens to have a mustache, if he wants to be part of Trump's cabinet, he's got to shave it,
I heard he doesn't want John Bolton because he doesn't have the look. He didn't like the mustache.
Yeah.
I heard that.
It's the walrus look, I guess.
Well, he is the walrus. Cuckoo, cuckoo.
There you go.
Yeah.
There
All
you
right.
go.
Listen, Merry Christmas to you. So, yes, this is what I was going to tell Carol Marie, except we ran out of time, is that, one of the solutions to the Christmas dinner arguments, the political arguments, is go to Costa Rica. They'll have those arguments with you in Spanish, and you won't understand it. It's perfect. Steve in Illinois.
Randy, hello.
Hello.
First of all, I love your jeans and T-shirt.
Oh, you can see them?
Yes, I'm watching on a large screen on YouTube. I also wanted to tell you that I think Howard is hilarious.
He is.
I think he has an excellent radio presence, and someday when you build your media empire, I really hope you carve out a little time for him.
For Howard?
I get a huge kick out of him.
Are you confusing Captain Leary with Howard? I think you are. I think you're confusing.
Maybe. No. This is me talking. Howard, I put on a mic way away, but this is me talking.
No. It's the other Howard one. I am a huge fan of comedy. He's got that built-in, he's got the voice. The commercial that he does for you is forget about it. The guy's hilarious. I would listen to an entire show of Howard.
Well, then, Howard, maybe you ought to stay behind and be my first fill-in, and I'll go down to Costa Rica and test the Cat 5.
I also wanted to tell you that I'm a Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Stinking Podcast subscriber.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Something I wanted to know was,
Yes.
I just turned my best friend onto your show. She was feeling a little remorse, and I pointed her in the direction of your homework, and which is probably one of the best sources of information around.
Yeah.
As far as your gift cards go, which I think is an awesome idea, is that good for both the podcast and swag?
Yeah, it's for anything in the store, anything at all.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's her Christmas present, is your podcast.
Yeah, it's you just when you buy it, they send a code to her. You know, we'll ask for her email address. She'll get the code, and then she can use the code at checkout for anything she buys. Anything.
Well, I turned her on to one episode of your show, and because of work hours, it's hard to listen.
Yeah.
You know, to the entire show. But libertarians really start to backtrack. Because
we're
now
going to
that they've
start
gotten
to look
what they wanted, they're like, oh my God, I've got kids. This wasn't what I didn't think this could happen.
You know why? Because he pulled the greatest scam in the world. He talked a populist game. He talked an FDR game. He talked a Teddy Roosevelt game. He talked a game about, conservation and not conservation as much as, building America. Let's put it that way. Infrastructure, building America, the forgotten man, all these little things that, very progressive. Teddy Roosevelt was a Republican, but he was a progressive. And, the same thing with with Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I mean, these were once in a lifetime presidents, and they thought that they were voting for that populist agenda, and what they actually got was Goldman Sachs.
But you know what? I have a friend.
And what's crazy is what's wrong with the government. The reason why libertarians don't like government is because it is corrupt, and they have a point. It needs to be fixed, not eliminated, though, because when you eliminate it, then Goldman Sachs is the government. That's the problem, and that's what they have now.
But I've noticed on Facebook, I've tried to be as non-political on Facebook as possible. On Twitter, I have an alternate reality profile where I can say whatever I want, because I'm on the fence. If I really hold true to what I believe, I am literally going to have to wipe out over half of the people I know just because they're so freaking stupid.
You know what? I don't know why. I don't know if it's willful ignorance or if it's, just they never learned, they can't learn. I don't know which it is, but they're about to learn. I
have a high school friend who is still, he just said this week that because of the environmental issues that Obama addressed, they're looking at it as he's holding us back from progressing with energy. And he said, but that's going to change, because once they find out that Barry is not an American citizen, he's still saying Barry is not an American citizen.
Well, good luck with that. I hope that brings him, $15 an hour.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they could say whatever they want. They're, some of them are extremely rude. I mean, just beyond belief childish. And that's, but I hope it gets them what they want. I hope it brings them, a $15 an hour job, a $25 an hour job. I hope it does. Now, Obama did. He brought $25 an hour jobs to Ohio, to Michigan, and they said, F you. So, in
my opinion,
when they have somebody that actually creates good paying jobs, they say they don't like them. And then when they have somebody that actually says you're making too much money at $7.25, we can't have a minimum wage. We need we need people to work for less because you're competing in the global economy now, and there are people making $2 in Mexico. So you're going to have to accept that. Then they go, yeah, okay, so good for you. I hope you get what you want. I really hope they get what they want.
But now I'm looking at my friends, and I'm like, oh my God, these are people who, in various times, they have been with me through thick and thin. Non-political. Prior to this, all started with Bush. As far as my friends go, like that's when I saw the turn occur, and prior to that, I've had friends who have stuck with me through some really harsh times, and I have a hard time letting go. And now I'm on the fence where I'm like, okay, do I let them know this is reality? Point them in the direction of your homework. Do I keep my mouth shut?
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, the homework. You know what? We're going to have to make a whole new website. Just the homework page. Just the homework page. I'm going to take it out from inside my website, and we're going to make it just a website, just like the Drudge Report or whatever. We'll be a news aggregator. And make sure it arrives in everybody's email box every single freaking day.
You know what? I do amateur screenwriting, and I have a website where that's all I do. It looks like a newspaper, and I just use RSS feeds to aggregate headlines.
Okay, then we can do it too. We can do it too.
The Randy Rhodes Air Force. The Randy Rhodes Show is live on RandyRhodes.com and the free Progressive Voices app for Android and iOS. Visit the App Store or ProgressiveVoices.com now.
I'm David Pacman, host of The David Pacman Show on the Progressive Voices channel. Check out this clip from my show.
There is a truly fascinating and stunning new PPP poll exposing that Donald Trump supporters live, to a pretty significant degree, in a total and complete fantasy world. The fantasy world that Donald Trump voters are living in today sort of reminds me of the fantasy world that Republican supporters of the Iraq War were living in during 2004. There's a very famous PIPA poll that was done. It was done around 2004. It might have been late 2003 or 2004, which I encourage you to check out. And in it, it showed that Republicans were highly likely to believe three false notions. This is 2004, okay? Number one, many Republicans in 2004 thought we found weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Of course, that wasn't true. In 2004, many Republicans believed that there was a connection between 9/11 and bin Laden to Iraq and Saddam Hussein. Of course, there was no connection. And number three, many Republicans in 2004 believed that world opinion of the U.S. going into Iraq was positive. All were wrong. All were a total alternate reality. And we have a similar situation today with Trump supporters. Let's take a look at what this PPP poll has found based on what Trump supporters believe today. For example, 39% of Trump supporters think that the stock market has decreased under President Obama. It's actually up over 100%. It's more than doubled. 2/3 of Trump supporters think unemployment is up under President Obama. In fact, it's down from 7.8% to 4.6%. 40% of Trump voters believe that Donald Trump won the popular vote. That's similar to last week's poll. There's one other poll that says it's actually 52% of Trump voters think Trump won the popular vote. Of course, he lost the popular vote by nearly 3 million votes to Hillary Clinton. 60% of Trump supporters believe that millions of people voted illegally for Hillary Clinton. That has not been demonstrated by any evidence whatsoever. 73% of Trump voters believe that George Soros paid Trump protesters, a widely debunked conspiracy theory from the fake news world. And 29% of Trump voters, basically 3 in 10 Trump voters, think that the California vote shouldn't be included in the popular vote. Just arbitrarily, we just shouldn't include the California popular vote in the world, countrywide, nationwide, national popular vote totals. Trump voters live in a fantasy world, and this is not a matter of opinion. It is a matter of fact. This is why I have said that by and large, it doesn't matter whether Trump makes America great again. The Trumpists are going to think he did because the facts don't matter to them. And we know that the political rewards to Trump for just lying have been huge. This is what you get, Pat, when you have a candidate whose primary justification for his claims and beliefs are, it's true because I say it's true.
Yeah, and if you're a low information voter or all you take in is Rush Limbaugh on Fox News, I could see how you could fall for this sort of thing. But some of these things are just ludicrous. I mean, there's no reasonable way to say that the country is in a worse position than when Obama took office. And why would you think that California's vote shouldn't even count?
Yeah, no, I mean, just lots of liberals there, and it distorts stuff. Well, so do all those low population red states in the middle of the country. I mean, almost nobody lives there. They shouldn't even count their electoral votes, right? Who would accept that? It doesn't make any sense. And this relates to why people who stand to lose from Trump being president insist on voting for him because their lives for the last 20 or 30 years in many cases have been materially worsened by Republican policy, but they have been brought up in a culture and in a way where they believe the lies told by Trump. They believe that Republican ideas help to improve their lives, and they do not. This is a real difficult situation that we are heading into.
You've been listening to part of the David Pacman Show on the Progressive Voices channel. For full audio and video podcasts, interviews, and more, go to davidpacman.com and check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The David Pacman Show.
The Randy Rhodes Show is brought to you by our partners at ITM Trading. Call them at 1-888-OWN-GOLD and ask for a free gold kit. 1-888-OWN-GOLD.
All things Randy at randyrhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randy Rhodes Show.
Here's a little Christmas story. It's kind of like It's a Wonderful Life, except it's the Carl Icahn version. Okay, Carl Icahn, when Donald Trump bankrupted the casino, even though the House always wins, except in Donald Trump's case, Carl Icahn bought the Taj Mahal. And the union members there, they went to Carl Icahn, to his Fifth Avenue offices, and they delivered a letter to tell them that his cuts to their pension funds and his cuts to their health care benefits was not okay. Okay, because that's the first thing he did. He came in, and the first chunk of money that he saw that he could take out of the bankruptcy court was the pension funds and the health insurance benefits. And so the members of Local 54 wrote him a letter, and they said, it's not okay that you stripped us of our health insurance. It's not okay that you ripped away our retirement security. It's not okay that you've made it so that on average we make $12,000 less in pay and benefits. It's not okay that you hide in your penthouse while you destroy people's lives. It's not okay that you're trying to profit from turning us into the working poor. And Icahn would not even come downstairs from his Fifth Avenue office. He sent a man named Al Wallinger downstairs he sent a man downstairs to take a letter from Al Wallinger, who worked at the Taj Mahal since 1990 when it first opened. And they gave him Al Wallinger gave Carl Icahn's messenger boy the letter and an apple pie. Because he said earlier this year when we sent him a similar letter, he said apple pie and roses isn't the way the world works. So they sued to try and get their pensions back. They sued to try and get their health insurance back. And so this went to court in an appeals court. That was like 2015. In 2016, in early 2016, in January, the beginning of this year, almost a year ago, an appeals court in Atlantic City ruled in favor of the Taj Mahal Casino, saying that it was Carl Icahn's legal right to end the pension fund and to end the health insurance benefits for the employees. And Carl Icahn was thrilled because he said he had told the court, if you don't let me have this pension fund and if you don't let me take away their health insurance benefits, I'm just going to sell the damn thing. I will not. I will just sell it. And all these people will be unemployed. So he promised, he didn't promise, but he told the court that he was in the process of acquiring the casino. He's buying it out of the bankruptcy court. He's used his own money, like, $10 million. And he said, I will cut funding if the court ruling is not in my favor. If you don't let me have those pension funds and you don't let me, take the health insurance away, then I'll just sell it and I will not keep that thing open. So the court ruled in his favor. 10 months later, in October of 2016, he closed the casino. 2 months ago. So he told the court, he threatened, I'll just let it go. Let me have the pension funds. Let me have the health insurance fund. If you don't let me have it, I'm just going to close the damn place down. They said, okay, you take it from you can buy it from the bankruptcy court. The pension fund stays, with you. The healthcare benefits you don't have to give. And he said, okay, fine. And then he took that amount of money from the bankruptcy court and closed the whole That's Trump's best friend. That he says, oh, gotta have Carl Icahn. Now Carl Icahn's going to be in charge of choosing members of the Securities and Exchange Commission. So when people tell me, oh, we voted for an outsider, I get that people, know that our government has gone down a very bad money road, that Congress has been for sale for quite some time now, and especially after Citizens United, which was a completely Republican effort to open the floodgates of money. All right, so that said, they wanted an outsider because our government was corrupt. And why was it corrupt? It was corrupt because the people making the law were the handmaidens of these hedge funders. They were the handmaidens of Goldman Sachs. They were the handmaidens of AIG. They were the handmaidens of Lehman Brothers. So they wanted an outsider because their government was corrupt. So the guy that you picked, now Goldman Sachs is the government. Oh my God. So it blows my mind. It just blows my mind. Okay, Allie in Maryland.
How you doing?
Hey.
First time caller, and I love your show. I just found it, and I am in full agreement with you.
Thank you.
But by the way, the Russians actually picked them. Just saying.
Wow.
But one thing that I wanted to answer, or actually say to the previous caller, putting homework is a great thing. The problem is they don't read it. They don't care about the facts. The facts don't matter to them.
Well, they are getting fake news, and they think those are the facts. So putting facts out there and getting it into their mailboxes might help with that.
Providing that they read it, the problem is that they do.
Well, they read something. They read hedge, Zero Hedge. They read Red State. They read The Blaze. They read some really crazy. They read Breitbart. They read Drudge Report. They read some crazy stuff.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so we know. So we know they're capable of reading.
To a degree, shall we say. But the other thing that we need to do, we need to stop being afraid and start getting some balls and doing what we need to do. We need to start doing, communicating with each other and trying to build some kind of way that we can gather information and pass it along to other people, like a database where we can put senators' numbers and congressmen, so we can call them whenever they put bills out there that we do not agree with.
Everybody has the same phone number on Capitol Hill. Okay, just call. It's the Capitol Hill switchboard. And all you do is call that switchboard and ask for your Congress member. Everybody has the same. You don't need to compile all these numbers. It's one number.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's one number for the White House. There's one number for the Senate, one number for the House. You just tell the operator, and if you don't even know who your congressman or senator is, they'll ask for your zip code and they'll put you in touch with your congress member or your senator, whoever you're looking to find. You don't need a database. They're the easiest. They're the easiest people in the world to find.
And the other thing is we need to start gathering strength now for the next election 2 years from now. We can't just sit it out like we did last year. There's no way.
No, there's no way.
Just way too important. We're just giving them the keys to the kingdom. Every time that there's an election that we believe that our vote doesn't count, this is exactly what happens when we believe our vote don't count. People get elected that don't supposed to be there.
But that's why the Russians, I won't even say the Russian, but that's why Donald Trump kept saying the election was rigged. He wanted to depress the vote. He wanted people not to show up. He wanted to say, it doesn't matter what you do at the polls, it's all going to be rigged. Because he thought he was going to lose. So he wanted to suppress the vote. And then there was actual voter suppression. There's gerrymandering. North Carolina is going to have, 23 or 28 new elections because the court found that they had criminally, racially gerrymandered that state so bad they have to rehold their elections. So there's lots of things going on, and information is the coin of the realm. which is why I keep saying, that's why we had to come back from I was retired. But I understood what was going on, and I understood it wasn't going to be good. So say goodbye to 2016. It was it was just a suck-ass year. It was all full of, the whole entire year was full of hatred and vitriol and racism and bigotry and innocent people being shot. And it was a nasty, nasty, ugly, disgusting year. 2017, we're going to have a new president, an old Congress, the same Congress, but we're going to have hearings. Big ones. Because all these people, except for Carl Icahn and Michael Flynn, all have to be, and, the nanny, Kellyanne Conway, they all have to be confirmed. This is when you start paying attention. These confirmation hearings are going to be monsters. Monsters. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.